Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Easy Speak English Podcast. I'm Priya, your friend, cheerleader, and guide on this incredible journey to becoming a confident English speaker. Whether you're learning English to ace that job interview, shine in your studies, travel the world, or just feel more confident chatting with friends, this episode is your one-stop shop for practical, easy-to-follow tips and tricks to help you speak English better, faster, and with a big smile on your face. So grab a cup of tea, or coffee if that's your vibe, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into today's topic, English speaking tips and tricks. This episode is packed with ideas you can start using today, no matter where you are in your English learning journey. From beginners just starting out to advanced learners looking to polish their skills, there's something here for everyone. Before we jump in, let me remind you that learning English is like learning to ride a bike. It takes practice, a few wobbles, and a lot of courage. But once you get the hang of it, you'll be zooming along with confidence. So let's get started. Part 1. Why speaking English feels scary, and why that's okay. Let's kick things off by addressing the elephant in the room. Why does speaking English feel so intimidating for so many learners? If you've ever felt your heart race before speaking English, or worried about saying the wrong thing, you're not alone. I've been there, and so have millions of other language learners around the world. Here are a few reasons why speaking English might feel scary. Fear of mistakes. You might worry about using the wrong word or messing up grammar. Maybe you're afraid someone will laugh or not understand you. Comparing yourself to others. Hearing fluent speakers with perfect accents on TV or social media can make you feel like you're not good enough. Fast talkers and unfamiliar accents. When native speakers talk at lightning speed or use slang, it can feel like they're speaking a different language altogether. Lack of practice. If you don't get many chances to speak English in your daily life, it's natural to feel rusty or unsure. Here's a little story from my own life. When I was learning English, I once walked into a coffee shop and tried to order a latte. I rehearsed the sentence in my head 100 times, but when I got to the counter, I froze and said, "Can I have a, coffee milk?" The barista smiled kindly, handed me my latte, and life went on. That moment taught me that mistakes aren't the end of the world. They're part of the journey. The good news? You don't need perfect grammar, a fancy accent, or a huge vocabulary to communicate effectively. What you need is practice, the right strategies, and a sprinkle of confidence. Today, I'm going to share 10 practical tips to help you overcome those fears and speak English like a pro. Let's break it down into small, manageable steps that you can start using right away. Part 2. Tip 1. Think in English, not your native language. Let's start with one of the most powerful tricks for speaking English fluently, thinking in English. This might sound tricky, but it's a game changer, and anyone can do it with practice. So, what does thinking in English mean? It's about forming your thoughts directly in English instead of thinking in your native language and then translating. Translation slows you down, makes you second-guess yourself, and can lead to awkward phrasing. For example, if you're thirsty and think, "need water," and then try to translate it to "I want water," your brain has to do extra work. Instead, train yourself to think, "I want water" from the start. Here's how to practice thinking in English. Start with simple thoughts. Begin with short everyday phrases. For example, when you're hungry, think, "I'm hungry," instead of translating from your native language. When you're waiting for a bus, think, "The bus is late." Narrate your actions. As you go about your day, describe what you're doing in English. For example, "I'm brushing my teeth," "I'm walking to the kitchen," or "I'm checking my phone." This builds a habit of thinking in English naturally. Use English for inner monologues. When you're planning your day or making decisions, try doing it in English. For example, should I wear the blue shirt or the red one? Or, I need to finish my homework by 7 p.m. Let me share a quick example. One of my students, Arav, used to struggle with speaking English because he was always translating from Tamil. I challenged him to spend 10 minutes a day thinking in English. Simple thoughts like, I'm tired or it's raining. Within a month, he noticed he could respond faster in conversations because his brain wasn't stuck in translation mode. It's like rewiring your brain to become bilingual, and it feels amazing when it clicks. Action step. For the next 3 days, set a timer for 5 minutes each morning and narrate your actions in English. For example, I'm making breakfast. I'm cutting some fruit. I'm pouring coffee. You'll be surprised how quickly this becomes second nature. Part 3. Tip 2. Learn phrases, not just words. Here's a common mistake. Many learners focus on memorizing individual words like happy, run, or food, but struggle to put them into sentences. Knowing 1,000 words won't help if you don't know how to use them in real conversations. That's why our second tip is to learn phrases and sentence patterns, not just standalone words. Think of phrases as ready-made building blocks for speaking. They save you time and make your sentences sound more natural. For example, instead of just learning the word sorry, learn the phrase, I'm sorry for being late. Instead of just help, learn, can you help me with this? Instead of just understand, learn, I didn't understand. Could you explain it again? Here are some everyday phrases to get you started. Starting a conversation. Hi, how's it going? Or, nice to see you. Asking for clarification. Could you repeat that, please? Or, what does that mean? Expressing opinions. In my opinion. Or, I think that. Agreeing or disagreeing. I agree with you. Or, I'm not sure I agree. Why does this work? Because phrases are how native speakers talk. They don't build sentences word by word. They use chunks of language that flow naturally. Learning phrases also reduces mistakes because you're using pre-tested sentence patterns. Action step. Pick 5 phrases you'd use in your daily life, like I'll be there in 10 minutes, or can you make it quick? Write them down and practice saying them out loud 3 times a day. Try using at least one in a real conversation by the end of the week. For example, if you're at a store, say, can you make it quick? Instead of struggling to build the sentence from scratch. Pro tip, create a small notebook or use a note-taking app to jot down new phrases you hear in conversations, movies, or podcasts. Review them weekly, and soon you'll have a treasure trove of ready-to-use expressions. Part 4. Tip 3. Practice speaking every day. Yes, even alone. You might be thinking, Priya, I don't have anyone to practice English with. Don't worry. You don't need a partner to improve your speaking. One of the best ways to build fluency is through self-talk, which means practicing speaking English by yourself. It's free, easy, and incredibly effective. Here's how to do it. Morning routine talk. Every morning, spend 5 to 10 minutes describing your day out loud. For example, today I'm going to the office. I have a meeting at 10, and then I'll grab lunch with my friends. Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and pretend you're in a real-life situation, like answering interview questions, ordering food, or giving directions. For example, say, hi, I'd like a veg burger with fries, please. The mirror helps you see your expressions and boosts your confidence. Record and review. Use your phone to record yourself speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. Talk about anything, your favorite movie, your weekend plans, or even what you ate for breakfast. Then, listen to the recording and ask yourself, am I speaking too fast or too slow? Are my words clear? Do I sound confident? Don't judge yourself harshly. Just notice areas to improve and keep practicing. Let me tell you about my friend Neha. She was super shy about speaking English, but started doing self-talk every day while cooking dinner. She described her recipe out loud. I'm chopping onions. Now I'm adding spices. Within a few weeks, she was speaking more fluently at work, and her colleagues noticed the difference. Self-talk works because it builds muscle memory for speaking, just like practicing a sport. Action step. Tonight, before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes talking to yourself in English about your day. Say things like, "Today was busy. I finished a big project, but I'm tired now." Do this every day for a week, and you'll feel more comfortable forming sentences. Bonus idea. If you're feeling adventurous, try narrating a story or describing a dream in English. It's fun, creative, and great practice for thinking on your feet. Part 5. Tip 4. Master the shadowing technique. Now, let's talk about a super fun and effective technique called shadowing. Shadowing is like being an actor in your favorite English movie. You listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, right away, out loud, like their shadow. It's one of the best ways to improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Here's how to do it step by step. Choose a short audio or video. Pick a 2 to 3 minute clip from a YouTube video, TED Talk, podcast, or even a scene from a TV show like Friends or The Office. Make sure it's clear and at a pace you can follow. Listen to one sentence. Play the first sentence, then pause. Repeat exactly. Try to copy the speaker's words, tone, speed, and even their accent. For example, if they say, "I had an amazing day," repeat it with the same enthusiasm. Loop the clip. Repeat the same clip multiple times until you can say it smoothly. Then, move to the next sentence. Practice daily. Spend 10 minutes a day shadowing, and you'll notice your speech becoming more natural. Why is shadowing so powerful? It trains your ears and mouth to work together, helping you sound more like a native speaker. It also builds confidence because you're mimicking someone who sounds fluent. Real-life example. My student Ravi used shadowing to prepare for a presentation in English. He practiced with a TED Talk about leadership, repeating each sentence until he could say it confidently. By the time he gave his presentation, his colleagues were amazed at how clear and natural he sounded. Action step. Find a 2-minute YouTube video in English today, maybe a cooking tutorial or a motivational speech. Shadow 5 sentences from it. Try to match the speaker's tone and speed. Do this for 5 days, and you'll hear a difference in your accent and fluency. Pro tip. If you're shy about speaking out loud, try shadowing with earphones in a quiet room. Part 6. Tip 5. Embrace mistakes. They're your teachers. Let's get real for a moment. Mistakes are normal, and they're actually your best teachers. Every language learner, including native speakers, makes mistakes. I've heard native English speakers say things like, "I seen it," instead of, "I saw it." And guess what? The world didn't end. Here's why you shouldn't fear mistakes. They're part of learning. Mistakes show you're trying, and every error teaches you something new. People understand anyway. If you say, "he go," instead of "he goes," most people will still understand you. Communication is about meaning, not perfection. Mistakes build confidence. The more you speak, even with mistakes, the less you'll fear them over time. Here's a quick story. When I was a beginner, I once told my friend, "I'm so boring," when I meant, "I'm so bored." We laughed about it, and it became a fun memory. That mistake didn't stop me. It pushed me to keep practicing. How to handle mistakes. If you make a mistake, laugh it off and try again. If someone corrects you, say, "Thanks for pointing that out," and use the correction to improve. Focus on being understood, not perfect. For example, If you're ordering food and say, "I want pizza with cheese extra," the waiter will get it. Pro tip: keep a mistake journal. Write down one mistake you made while speaking, like saying "I goed" instead of "I went." Then write the correct version and practice it in a sentence. This turns mistakes into learning opportunities. Part 7. Tip 6. Build vocabulary the smart way. A strong vocabulary is like a toolbox for speaking, but memorizing hundreds of words at once can feel overwhelming. Instead, let's be strategic and learn vocabulary the smart way. A few words at a time, with context and repetition. Here's how to do it. Learn 3 to 5 words a day. Pick useful words you're likely to use. For example, if you're learning the word exhausted, practice it in sentences like "I'm exhausted after work" or "running makes me feel exhausted." Use words in context. Don't just memorize happy. Practice it in real sentences. "I'm happy to see you," or "This song makes me happy." Review regularly. Use flashcards, apps like Quizlet or Anki, or stick Post-it notes on your fridge with new words and their sentences. Review old words every few days to keep them fresh. Focus on themes. Learn words related to specific situations, like ordering food, menu, appetizer, bill, travel, luggage, passport, boarding, or work, deadline, meeting, colleague. Example, let's say you learn the word nervous. Practice it like this. "I feel nervous before exams." "She looked nervous during her speech." "Why are you so nervous today?" Real life story. My cousin Maya used to spend hours memorizing word lists, but forgot them quickly. I suggested she learn just 3 words a day and use them in conversations. She started with words like curious, frustrated, and excited. Within a month, she was using them confidently in her job interviews, and she landed her dream job. Action step. Today, pick 3 new words related to your daily life. Busy, schedule, relax. Write 3 sentences for each word and say them out loud. Use at least 1 word in a real conversation this week. Pro tip: watch an English movie or show and note down 5 new words or phrases you hear. Look up their meanings and try using them in your own sentences. Real life story. My cousin Maya used to spend hours memorizing word lists, but forgot them quickly. I suggested she learn just 3 words a day and use them in conversations. She started with words like curious, frustrated, and excited. Within a month, she was using them confidently in her job interviews. And she landed her dream job. Action step. Today, pick 3 new words related to your daily life. Busy, schedule, relax. Write 3 sentences for each word and say them out loud. Use at least 1 word in a real conversation this week. Pro tip: watch an English movie or show and note down 5 new words or phrases you hear. Look up their meanings and try using them in your own sentences. Part 8. Tip 7. Listen more to speak better. Speaking and listening are like 2 sides of the same coin. The more you listen to English, the better you'll speak it. Why? Because listening exposes you to natural sentence patterns, pronunciation, and intonation, the way a speaker's voice rises and falls. Here's how to make listening a powerful tool for speaking. Podcasts. Listen to beginner-friendly podcasts like Easy Speak English Podcast with Priya, of course, The English We Speak by BBC, or 6-Minute English. Pay attention to how hosts ask questions and respond. TV shows and movies. Watch English shows with subtitles at first, then try without them. Shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Great British Bake Off are fun and use everyday language. Music. Listen to English songs and read the lyrics online. Sing along to practice pronunciation and rhythm. Songs like Shallow by Lady Gaga or Let It Be by the Beatles are great for beginners. Sentence structure. How do speakers form sentences? For example, I'm going to, or can you please? Intonation. Notice how questions sound different from statements. For example, are you coming? Has a rising tone at the end. Slang and expressions. Pick up phrases like what's up or no worries. Real-life example. My student Priyanka improved her speaking by watching Friends with subtitles. She'd pause after funny lines and repeat them, like, how you doing, in her best Joey impression. Over time, her pronunciation and confidence soared. Action step. Spend 15 minutes today listening to an English podcast or song. Write down one sentence or phrase you hear, and practice saying it 5 times. Try using it in a conversation or self-talk. Part 9, Tip 8. Use technology to boost your practice. We're living in the golden age of technology, and it's a fantastic tool for learning English. From apps to AI, here are some ways to use tech to improve your speaking. Voice assistants. Talk to Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant in English. Ask them questions like, what's the weather like? Or, tell me a joke. It's like having a patient conversation partner who never gets annoyed. Voice messages. Record a 30-second WhatsApp voice message in English and send it to a friend or family member. For example, say, hey, just wanted to share my day in English. I went to the park and it was so fun. Real-life story. My friend Sanjay used to be terrified of speaking English, but he started chatting with Alexa every morning, asking for the news or recipes. It felt silly at first, but it gave him a safe space to practice, and now he's much more confident. Action step. Download one language learning app today. Spend 10 minutes exploring it and practicing one speaking exercise, like repeating a sentence or recording yourself. Pro tip. Set your phone or computer language to English for a week. It'll force you to interact with menus, notifications, and apps in English, giving you extra exposure. Part 10. Tip 9. Be patient and kind to yourself. Learning to speak English fluently is a marathon, not a sprint. Some days you'll feel like you're nailing every sentence. Other days, you might forget a simple word like umbrella and feel frustrated. That's okay. It's all part of the process. Here's how to stay patient and kind to yourself. Celebrate small wins. Did you order food in English? Understand a movie without subtitles? Have a short conversation with a stranger? These are huge victories. Celebrate them. Track your progress. Keep a journal of your speaking milestones. For example, write, today I asked for directions in English and the person understood me. Avoid negative self-talk. Instead of thinking, my English is terrible, say, I'm learning and I'm getting better every day. Set realistic goals. Don't aim to sound like a native speaker in a month. Instead, set goals like, I'll speak English for 10 minutes a day, or I'll learn 5 new phrases this week. Real-life story. My student Rohan used to get upset when he stumbled over words. I encouraged him to focus on progress, not perfection. He started celebrating small wins, like ordering coffee in English or chatting with a coworker. Within 6 months, he was leading team meetings in English with confidence. Action step. At the end of today, write down one thing you did well in English, even if it's small, like saying thank you to a cashier. Read it out loud and give yourself a pat on the back. Pro tip. Reward yourself for sticking to your practice. For example, after a week of speaking English daily, treat yourself to your favorite snack or a movie night. Bonus section. The 7-Day Speaking Challenge. Ready to supercharge your English speaking? Here's a 7-day speaking challenge to put everything we've talked about into action. Follow this plan for just 1 week, and you'll feel a difference in your confidence and fluency. Day 1. Describe your day. Spend 5 minutes describing your day out loud in English. For example, I woke up at 7. I had toast for breakfast. Now I'm getting ready for work. Day 2. Mirror talk. Talk to yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes. Pretend you're introducing yourself at a party or answering an interview question, like, tell me about yourself. Day 3. Shadow a video. Pick a 2-minute English video, example, a YouTube vlog or TED Talk. Shadow 5 sentences, copying the speaker's tone and speed. Day 4. Learn and use phrases. Learn 5 new phrases, like, can you give me a hand, or I'm running late. Use each one in a sentence out loud. Try using one in a real conversation. Day 5. Call a friend. Call or message a friend and speak only in English for 5 minutes. Talk about something fun, like your favorite movie or weekend plans. Day 6. Record yourself. Record a 1-minute voice note in English about anything, a hobby, a memory, or your goals. Listen to it and note one thing you did well and one thing to improve. Day 7. Watch without subtitles. Watch a 10-minute English video or movie scene without subtitles. Try to understand the main idea and repeat one sentence you hear. Challenge tip. Share your progress with a friend or on social media using #SpeakEasyChallenge. It'll keep you motivated and inspire others. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Easy Speak English Podcast with Priya. I hope these tips and the 7-day speaking challenge have inspired you to take your English speaking to the next level. Remember, fluency isn't about using big fancy words. It's about expressing yourself with confidence and heart. Every word you speak, every mistake you make, and every small win brings you closer to your goal. Don't forget to subscribe. Easy Speak English Podcast. Share this episode with your friends and keep practicing. You've got this. Keep speaking, keep smiling, and keep growing. I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay confident and keep shining.